Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Tuesday, December 15th, 2015. I'm your host, Alexander Kalafi, and today we are talking about the final Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS video presentation, featuring all kinds of character reveals, none of them predicted by any of us. I am joined today by regular Donald Terrio.
You said December 15th. I really wish it was February right now.
I am also joined. I got tripped up for a second because I accidentally left our own live stream going on, so I started hearing my own voice. It's a real proper mess. I'm also joined by one James Jones of Radio Free Nintendo, who is probably the most qualified person here to talk about any of this. Hello, James.
Am I? That's a terrifying thought. I watched this in the back of a car.
Well, you are the Fire Emblem boy. And in my imagination, you're also the Bayonetta boy.
I don't like that title at all. That's not what I signed up for. That's not what I want.
Okay, you're at least top 3 in the running for staff sleazeball in a really endearing way.
Jesus, is that what I give off? Oh my God!
I mean that with as much love as possible.
James Jones, host of Radio Free Nintendo, corporate sleazeball.
You at least appreciate sleaze in a way I really respect.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay, cool. Not this direct, unfortunately. I can't say I was entirely pleased. It sounds like most of the internet wasn't either, but I will be relatively restrained in my criticism of it because most of this stuff is for either a game I haven't played yet or a game that hasn't come out yet. So starting from the beginning, we got Corrin from Fire Emblem Fates. No one could have seen this coming, and I'm a little surprised it even did come at all. James, as someone who really wants to play Fire Emblem Fates, did you respond to this in any emotion whatsoever?
No, because I don't know who it is. I mean, like, all we've seen is the promotional video of this character. And, you know, I was not aware of his dragon-esque lineage because I've mostly avoided discussion of the game. So, thanks, Sakurai. But to that point, I just couldn't escape the fact that when he transforms, he looks like a Pokemon. And yeah. I was sort of just working through that. So when they announced Robin for back when the game was still coming out, that was interesting because this was a character I had just gone through, and I had build your own Robin custom order, and had found that that class, the strategist, that's what they called in that game, is so dramatically overpowered. I was excited to have a swordsman magic user because we didn't really have a lot of magic users, explicit magic users at least, in the franchise, in Smash franchise. Having a dude that turns into a Pokemon with a big dumb spear, I don't know. I mean, maybe after I've played Fire Emblem Fates, it'll matter more to me. But at present, it's kind of like all right, sure, that's something I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Knowing that this character has what appears to be a chainsaw sword, I think I need to revise my height meter because now I really want to play Fire Emblem Fates.
You know, that's a valid point.
Yeah, it seems a lot like this might have been an easier character for them to make. And like, hey, people responded well to Robin. This game's probably going to be pretty good. Let's just put this one in too.
Well, I think that game sold. I don't remember the specifics, but I'm pretty sure that game sold an unfathomable number of copies in Japan.
It's sold Awakening in Japan.
Yeah, and Awakening sold a stupid number of units. So, you know, it makes sense that it's in there, and it serves the dual purpose of, you know, maybe they can sell the DLC in Japan, and maybe they can use it to promote the game in the West. It kind of goes back to what I originally thought they were going to do with the Smash DLC, which was just use it as a promotional tool. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, they didn't really do that. In this case, you know, maybe they sold costumes as promotional material. And then this one is much more of an explicit use of the character that way.
Yeah. How many Fire Emblem reps does this make then? Because we got Roy, Marth, Ike, Lucina, Robin, Corrin. Six. That's about how many Pokemon reps there are, right?
6. It might be more.
We Lucario, Jigglypuff, Pikachu, Charizard, Mewtwo, Greninja.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. It's the same.
So basically, Fire Emblem at this point is at about Pokemon level and just below Mario in terms of Smash representatives. And if you said that even when this game entered development in 2011, 2012, when we all thought the series was dead until Awakening brought it back, then this would be pretty stunning.
It's between a fourth and a fifth of the roster are Pokemon or Fire Emblem characters.
And those might be two of the most disconnected Nintendo franchises.
I mean, for the most part.
Yeah. I'm so excited for Fire Emblem Fates, but there's no context here. I have no idea how cool this is. So, like, I can't appreciate it. So it was a weird way to start off the Direct, but when you have Cloud already announced, Bayonetta has to be saved for the end because that's the fan favorite, apparently. They were kind of left in a rock and a hard place here. They had to put it here. But I almost wish that if they were going to do that, they just announced Cloud now, and then did Corrin last time.
So one thing they've gotten better about is they didn't release the DLC package. They didn't release the software update that contains the characters they haven't announced, which means they couldn't get scraped for this data, which they've gotten burned on, I think, twice. So at the very least, that allowed them to keep these other two characters secret and release the Cloud stuff now, so you can go buy Cloud. I think you can buy it right now.
Yeah, I bought it already.
Okay. Have you played as him?
Yeah, I played as him.
It's in a few minutes. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Just making sure. What were you saying, James?
I was just saying that, but at least by having Cloud announced ahead of time, it wasn't spoiled by somebody scraping the update that went out the other day.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, cool. Corrin, hopefully this game ends up being amazing, and then that ends up being a cool DLC character, you know. Also, hopefully, Bill Trinan announces some promotion where you can buy Fire Emblem Fates and then get this character for free. Okay. Good point, James. Good point. All right. Moving on to Cloud. They talked more about Cloud. They detailed Cloud. Limit Break is happening. Cloud is out now. Donald, now tell me about Cloud.
Okay, yeah. One thing you'll notice with Cloud very quickly is that his elements of his stage and his character are very limited compared to every other Smash character. He's got two, maybe three costumes. And the Midgar stage, the two songs you get at the start are the only two songs you're going to get. So you better like the Final Fantasy VII battle themes.
I mean, I do. It's one of the best battle themes probably of all time, you know?
Yeah.
It is a little bit of a bummer, though, that it's not a more involved character, but I understand that it's an add-on, ultimately. Yeah. It's fan service.
Yeah. And he sort of plays similarly to most of the other swordsmen, except he has some more distance. So he's closer to Robin in that way, in the magic-using sword wielder. But that Buster Sword has a stupid amount of reach. At least from what I saw.
I mean, it's a big dumb sword. Which I guess at least it's faithful.
But the main reason I picked up Cloud was to try him out as a villager replacement, in that it's the tackling dummy when I feel like I need to beat something up, and to that end, he works very well. Okay.
Initial impressions then: is he like Ryu, or he's stupidly overpowered?
He doesn't seem to be, although I did manage to blow a match against a level 1 version of him playing as my Shulk, which, well, I should probably stop playing as Shulk at this point.
Fair enough. James, are you going to pick up this guy?
Probably. I'm actually kind of behind on the Smash DLC at this point. Yeah. So I might just go through and just buy everybody except the other character for a game that's not been released in the West, and just call it a day. So I kind of want this one because I think it's more interesting conceptually. But yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna go out and buy him tonight.
Okay. Have you both played Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Okay. That is, although I know how good the battle theme is, and although I do acknowledge it as one of the finest ever, and probably one of my most memorable game tunes ever because I used to watch my brother play this game, I myself have never played through Final Fantasy VII. I've always been nervous. Is it is it one of those necessary games? Because at this point I'm not waiting for the remake.
And the remake's such a different thing. I mean,
Yeah.
everything they talk about, it just feels like it's a very different product. I mean, it's a big commitment of a game. It is a very, very long game.
70 hours or 30 hours?
Oh, it's closer on the 70 than the 30.
Okay.
It's a big game, and it's as much game as you want it to be. There is a lot of stuff that you can do otherwise.
Okay, but Alex, you do have the option of the PS4 version, which you could turn off random encounters, and there's like a triple speed movement option.
That's
So
true.
you may be better off going with that version of.
Isn't there some kind of like difficulty adjustments in there too, or something like that?
Yeah. I think the only thing you can't do is just jack up all your materia.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Well, I already have the Vita version. I bought the PS1 version, and I now have it on my Vita, along with Final Fantasy 6, 8, and 9, also barely touched. And then I also have this still sealed, and then I also have this still sealed because there was a Best Buy sale, and I got both these for $60 total.
Oh my god.
I'm in a real disaster place right now. I got Yakuza 5 still on deck. I got Until Dawn. I got Batman. I got Far Cry 4 still sealed. Opened that last week. Still hasn't been taken out of. I'm a real mess now, boys.
I think you have a problem.
James, I think you know a guy who's got a
admitting you have a problem is how you fix it. So let's start with that.
I think
as long as you don't come up in like a red pinstripe suit with like shimmer made into it like you're frickin' Nagoshi, we're okay. But the minute you come dressed like you're a member of the Yakuza, we're gonna have a problem.
I think I'm more of a new video game collector than a new video game player now.
It's not a profitable line of work. I'll go ahead and warn you ahead of time.
No, it's not at all. Especially since I put too much faith in these games like being the game I need to get me out of my rut that I end up being disappointed in whatever I play anyways. Yoshi's Woolly World, I'm gonna, like, I really want this to be the next Yoshi's Island. It's gonna be just okay. Xenoblade Chronicles X, I want it to make me feel the same way Xenoblade Chronicles will. It won't.
This has gone to a dark place. I didn't realize I was actually signing up for a therapy session. I thought we were just going to talk about Bayonetta and Smash.
It's same difference. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. No. That's all I have. That's all for Kalafi Corner right now. That's Cloud, Final Fantasy VII, too many video games. Moving on to costumes. We got costumes.
We got a lot of costumes. I can't even remember them all.
Chocobo is releasing at the same time as Cloud. That's already out. We also got Geno from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars coming out.
That was just like a big, just like, you want Geno? Here's Geno. Have Geno.
No, you know what my reaction to that was? Oh, so that's why they released King K. Rool as a costume.
Oh. Jeez.
Oh, that's them saying this is never going to be a character.
That's right. This is not a character. Well, we say that, but then we have characters that are costumes as well as characters. So I have no idea what's going on in this DLC of this game anymore.
Yeah, and we know, and there's at least one costume that we know is going to be in the next Smash Brothers and probably get the villager push.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
And that of course is Ivan the Terrible.
Yeah.
That's not your collection of new games, is it, Alex? Because then we got a real problem. You're not sitting on a copy of Devil's Third, are you?
If I did, I would at least be able to make some of the money back I spent on these games.
You'd turn a profit on that game at this point if you actually get somebody to pay up for that piece of shit.
No, you can say shit, Donald. That game's a piece of shit. I've never played it, but we know what it is. The only picture of a physical copy I've seen of it was in a plastic bag at GameStop.
I should have pre-ordered it. Just so I could go on ready for you to go, I have Devil's Third, and just hear this, just end the episode, and we'll call it a day.
I had that pre-ordered at a discount. I probably shouldn't have canceled it, but I did. Looking back, I kind of wish I kept it just so I could light it on fire.
I think there's a moral stand that needs to be taken somewhere.
I
Says the guy who will undoubtedly play that game at some point just for laughs.
I love that there are Nintendo fans who are so adamant that they will go out of their way and spend numbers maybe in the 3 digits trying to find a physical copy of Devil's Third just to satisfy their fan urge.
Their bloodlust.
Ivan the Terrible is a Nintendo character.
Yep, sure is, but he's not in Smash.
Just like Mario and just like Bayonetta.
We were denied the opportunity to play as Ivan the Terrible as our Mii Brawler. It is a real shame.
I'll take Takamaru as the swordsman, or Knuckles.
I also love the implication of the King K. Rool thing being added to Smash, which was, by the way, I think like an E3 or something else kind of thing.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. One of the other implication I love is how like that's the redesign King K. Rool. Like in the same way Duck Hunt Dog got his redesign, his like 21st century redesign with this game. King K. Rool's skin got a 2K15 redesign, but there is no actual character model of him. Only his skin. Thanks, Sakurai. Other things. We got Knuckles and Tails. They're in the games, and then you got some like robot guy. Is that from Metroid Prime Federation Force?
It sure is. It sure is.
Do you think these costumes are a list of characters that almost got in but had no chance in hell?
Oh, I guarantee you the Federation Force characters did not almost get in. I live now in fear of the inevitable emails coming to the inbox that I'm going to have to deal with, but that's fine. We'll get through that together. No, I mean, I think it's more a situation of they had characters that the platform or that the franchise holder was willing to make some money on, and they could fairly easily map it to one of the 3 Mii types.
Yeah.
And that was sort of the determining factor of who they created things for.
Although I would like to see like a 4th type if they're going to do Mii's again in the next game, just for like magic users, so that we don't have these archetypes of the brawler, the gunner, and the sword user.
Yeah. Something. So and I would imagine that they'll change it up a little bit.
And just so we don't have to end on this, now that we're talking about characters that didn't get into Smash and did not get announced today, some cock tease or unintentional cock tease from the Yacht Club guys, right? Of them going like, we're all huddling around, looking forward to have a fun lunch break, watching the Smash Direct. And then there was nothing. At the same time, Shovel Knight never had a chance in hell, and I feel so much more confident reiterating that from my statements last week. Why in the world would they ever devote those resources to Shovel Knight or Shantae? They don't deserve it. I'm looking at the camera right now. They don't deserve it.
All right, I'll see y'all next time you want to have me on. I don't want to be associated with any kind of I create enough of my own fire, Alex. I don't need to be associated with somebody else's just inflammatory statements. I have an email inbox I have to deal with every day. Thank you, sir.
Also, just quote James Jones if you ever want to respond to that.
Great, yeah. Just rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. You can send it there. I'm gonna have
Only
John
send it there.
I'm gonna have John go through the inbox from this point forward, and it won't be my problem anymore.
Okay, so Shovel Knight.
I mean, the argument that it would have been there is primarily based around the idea that Nintendo would be trying to show a commitment to these independent, these large independent developers. Because at this point, Yacht Club is a company. It's not just a couple people making a game. I mean, they had a retail release product in every region across all the major console platforms. I think there may have been a retail Vita game released in the year of our Lord 2015 with their franchise on it. So
not Vita, just Wii U,
okay,
and 3DS.
Okay.
Because not even Yacht Club is that stupid to try and put a Vita game out of retail in 2015. And I say that as a leading member of Team Handheld.
It's like there are no anime women wearing skimpy clothes. This cannot be on Vita retail. There was that's right, because the Xbox One copy had issues, didn't it?
Yeah.
There was an Xbox One version.
The minimum print run on an Xbox One game is completely untenable for an independent developer. It would
Yes.
basically have to outsell what they've done on Wii U and 3DS combined to be worth it.
Yeah, so I mean, the idea of they wanted to show a commitment to these platform holders, or alternatively maybe they had already inked some kind of deal to let them do something else. Maybe, but ultimately I think just any kind of featuring in those games would have probably been sufficient for the purposes of showing a commitment. I'm a little surprised that maybe there wasn't a costume. Because it seems like you could fairly straightforward map it to a swordsman, the Mii swordsman, and the costume wouldn't be that big of a stretch. But yeah, as a character in Smash, I would have been pretty shocked. Even though, yes, to your point, they really were milking it a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Also, Inklings. I'm a little surprised that rumor ended up being unfounded, but at the same time, like I said last week, that's the biggest character they have for Smash 5.
Right.
They don't have a bigger new character to come. In fact, that will get the villager treatment, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And to really do that character, it needs to be able to distort the stage.
Yeah.
And I don't know that the 3DS could handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried the 3DS version of Cloud, for instance, and it's kind of struggles a little bit even with doing Rama's electrical things in Midgar. So trying to keep the ink going in an Inkling stage, that's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. And I think the Mii costumes for Inkling are really good. Ultimately, like they really look the part. So
yeah.
Granted, they don't transform and they don't shoot ink.
Yeah, so but you can get them to shoot colored energy, and they have a QR code now that you can basically put them in the game, and they look like these ones. So,
yeah,
100% of the way there.
Okay. The last thing we have to talk about of note, the last big thing of note. Actually, no, we still have Amiibo thing to talk about. Bayonetta is in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS.
Sure is.
And not only that. That is the fan poll character, #1 in Europe, top 5 in North America. They said that worldwide, this was the most feasible, realizable character, I believe their word was.
Yeah.
Of the ones mentioned, which means no Jibanyan, no
Goku.
No Goku, no...
No Shrek.
Shrek. that was the #1 in Japan.
Yeah, it was they could make the deal. It was the most requested character, basically.
DreamWorks X Nintendo. Yeah, Bayonetta. That's happening, and then we also got a stage based on that key moment in the beginning of Bayonetta 1 with all the floating platforms and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's cool. It seems like they're putting a lot of work into this one.
Yeah. I will. So as I alluded, I was watching this in my car between work and going to the gym. So on the top of a parking deck at night in my car watching this thing, it was kind of a ridiculous situation to be in. But I let out inadvertent when Bayonetta came on, which is really funny because they actually did a really good job swerving on that announcement trailer.
Yes.
Because I was worried because it starts with Pit being an obnoxious character, and then it sounded like they were setting up for another Kid Icarus character, which was about the point I was going to check out, and then they flipped the script, and I was all in at that point.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, I had a lot of characters go through my head as to who they were going to do for the final reveal. Like, I thought, like, Sakurai wanted Magnus in the game at one point, and then I was like, oh shit.
Sorry.
Okay. Do you have work stuff that you gotta...
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, cool. So I was like, Magnus, that's a possibility. I was like, oh, flying, maybe they're gonna do a balloon fight thing for Iwata. That'd be a cool way to go out. Oh, maybe they're gonna do an 8-bit Kid Icarus, because it's Sakurai. That'd be a way to go out, something interesting like that. No, Bayonetta. So, it's interesting, it's cool. Another game I need to play at some point. 2 games I need to play. I have the PS3 version of Bayonetta 1. And Bayonetta 2 is too expensive for me to justify right now.
Really?
Because it's like it's $50 on the eShop, which I'm not paying for Nintendo games really. And then we got physical copies. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can find an opened copy at GameStop for like $35. So I might try to do that.
Well, you could always hope for something because they were doing Bayonetta 2 for $35 around Black Friday.
GameStop was.
GameStop, yeah.
Yeah, but that's because it's on clearance now, anyways. It's all copies you're going to find of that game in stores, or at least almost all of them, are going to be opened and $35. Almost positive.
Well, at least if it's opened, you won't have to worry about hoarding it unopened.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I like my sealed games, though.
I know. I would the only concern I would have buying it used is making sure you get both games.
Yeah.
Or that they don't try to nickel and dime you by selling them separately.
Yeah.
It is my understanding that the Wii U version of Bayonetta 1 is the optimal way to play that game.
Yeah. It just seems like that's the case. I don't know. On this Direct, my general thought was like, here's one game that isn't out yet, here's one game I totally need to play, and then here's one game that I plan on playing but haven't gotten around to yet. It kind of reflects how I feel about Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS by the end. I don't feel the same overwhelming excitement for that game that I guess some other people do right now, as so many people felt when it came out. I guess I just played it, I got my 30 hours out of both versions, and I was just like, I kind of prefer Melee a little more.
Yeah, for me, Bayonetta 2 was my game of the year last year, so I'm definitely down for more of it. I don't know if this means that Bayonetta is a full-time Nintendo character going forward. I think she'd still be considered third-party at this point, but Nintendo is probably doing something to angle to get ownership of that away from Sega going forward. At least I hope they are.
I mean, it would come to the question of, is there any real concern? Because even... I don't know that Bayonetta 2 was a huge success. Is anybody going to finance Bayonetta 3 besides them at this point? It just purely as a prestige item?
I think the story was that it was about 300,000 in the U.S. and that it was outselling the individual versions of the first game, but not them together.
Right. Which you would think is somewhat, because it was a fairly early game for the systems when they weren't totally established yet. I think it was 2008.
No, it was 2010. It was like.
Well, is it? Okay, I thought it was later than that, or earlier than that rather. But it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be a blow the doors off game. So it's cool though. It's a cool. Like I was excited by the announcement, definitely. It wasn't my game of the year last year. Although if you were to put me on the spot, I know I've said it in multiple forms of media, so I can't say it now because I can't remember what it was. And if I were to say something different, that would sound inconsistent. But it was a game that I enjoyed immensely, and I just kind of dig what that character is. Just there's a certain attitude to Bayonetta, not even necessarily as I have apparently been invested as the Pope of perviness, which is just from the kind of sarcastic, self-aware, smooth talking, and sort of open character that she is. Her willingness to just kind of say what she's thinking in a very smart and cutting way. So I was excited to see that Nintendo would put that kind of a character in the game. But I think it was totally the right call based on what they said from their polling.
Sure. Absolutely. And then the last thing we got to talk about, Bayonetta, Corrin, and Cloud are getting their own Amiibo, and then we got Ryu, Famicom Rob, and Roy coming as Amiibo in March. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Bayonetta Amiibo ultimately does in the West. It'll be more interesting just to see a Cloud Amiibo on store shelves. A Final Fantasy 1 Cloud Amiibo on store shelves.
The phrase Cloud Strife Amiibo is weird and kind of puzzling. But at this point, Amiibo is its own thing, and we're all just here for the ride.
Yep, it's Amiibo's world. We all live in it.
Yeah, and just you always think just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. Well, I'm probably going to end up with all three of the new character Amiibo at some point. Hell, I'm probably buying Sonic this week just to show my support for their Twitter account.
That's a bad way to live your life.
I needed a Christmas gift for myself this year.
Oh, okay. As long as you're not out there buying like Shadow the Hedgehog Figma, like I think we'll be okay.
Or a Shadow the Hedgehog custom amiibo.
No, God, no.
I just felt the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
James, would you call yourself overly or particularly content with this not Nintendo Direct?
I was happy with it. I thought it delivered about as well as I could have expected it to. It could have potentially catered to me in a way more explicitly if they had just run down and just said, hey, every main character in Layton vs. Rights is the playable character. Just download them right now. They're available. Oh, also, there's Amiibo. Like, at that point, I would have just been like, I'm out. I'm gonna go quit Xenoblade and just go live my life in Smash Brothers. But I think they struck the right tone of keeping the pace going. Announcements so that were interesting and put together in a right way, and then very very nicely close the book on Smash, on Wii U and 3DS. Like it was nice to see sort of Sakurai, just show that this is what I meant to do all along, and I'm happy to be done with it. And thank you for your participation in this completely insane ride for the last 2 years.
Sure. And you, Donald, how were you left feeling?
I'm kind of, like I said, my main takeaway from this is I really wish it was February right now, because I really want to play as Corrin and I really want to play as Bayonetta. I think Bayonetta might end up becoming my new main character at this point, honestly. So look for plenty of Bayonettas next year if we run in their Smash tournament.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay. So
I do like that Bayonetta embraces my Smash tournament strategy of, I don't know, timers are funny.
Okay, there we go then. Nintendo News Report, the final Super Smash Bros. 4 Wii U and 3DS presentation. 58 characters later, we are finally done with this game. I want to thank my co-hosts, Donald and James, for joining me, of course. You can find James on Twitter at NWR_James.
Yep.
There we go. You can also hear him on Radio Free Nintendo. That is on Sundays. It's still coming out, right?
Assuming nothing happens on the edit, yeah.
Okay. Give us a preview. Is it possible to give us a preview for next week? Because we haven't recorded it yet.
I think. A lot of Xenoblade talk. So John, Greg, and I are all pretty deep in Xenoblade X at this point. We may have a guest on to talk about Devil's Third. I'm sorry. Beyond that, I don't know what Guillaume's bringing in. We haven't started episode planning yet. And then it's email. I've got an email backlog I have to work through, and we'll go from there.
Lords of Thunder.
I don't know. We're gonna do a thunder round just yet. I'm a little concerned that I'm gonna get in there. It's gonna be like 45 Federation Force emails after the announcements today, and I'm gonna have to sit there and just cry to myself to sleep tonight.
Send your questions about the 2016 Game of the Year to rfn@nintendoworldreport.com.
We had put in a rule we weren't going to even talk about that game until it was brought up again, and then we broke it like a week later.
You know what's great about that game is that it's probably going to be wonderful. It's probably going to be literally like at least 8.5 out of 10, if not a full-on 9.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a good game, but we had to deal with so much stuff, and it was so dumb that we just all right, we just don't talk about that game anymore.
Metroid fans heard about the baby for so long, they became one.
I didn't say I'm trying to be good.
It's going to be one of the best games with one of the worst ideas of all time. There might be less than 5 worse ideas for a video game.
I'm so sorry. I'm bring it here.
You can find Donald at Donald Mick. You can also find him on Nintendo Free Radio. At CULAFIA, that is Calafia. You can hear Nintendo News Report or Nintendo World Report at night. We do those shows on every week, usually Thursday, sometimes other days of the week. That's all. Tell us what you thought. Looking forward to seeing how you responded to the things we said, as well as the direct thing itself. So cool. Thank you, Mr. Sakurai. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a good night.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.